You might think that two ENTJs would be in a lot of conflict with
diametrically opposed.
because they're both strong personalities, both, you could say, leaders, but we haven't really had that conflict.
No, like we were trying to think the other night, maybe it was the rum, but we were trying to identify, like, when have we fought? And we couldn't think of one. Like, I don't think we've actually ever had.
I think we communicate really well. Like, we're extremely direct, and maybe there's times where that level of directness with another personality type would be taken the wrong way or seen as very combative. Abrasive, yeah. But I think we appreciate the directness that we have with each other. I think you're actually, as an ENTJ, further along the path of maturity than I am, if I'm being completely honest. You have an amazing way of getting along with others. You can lead without being abrasive. You've achieved some amazing career goals at an extremely young age. You're younger than me. And I certainly learn a lot from you when I hang out with you.
I think the biggest takeaway that I had in 2020 as a whole, as a person, was that people will remember who treated them best in their worst moment. You know, people are going to remember who picked up their kids so that they could go spend time with their sick parents, or, you know, when they lost their job, who, you know, took care of something for them. Or when they're going through anxiety, who showed up and was just emotional support, just to be available. When those moments happen, it's far more important for you to try to fix whatever problem they're in my mind, than it's just to be an emotional support and let people work through that themselves. And so the thing that I learned in 2020, which was enormous, was that there are a lot of legitimate scenarios that need to get fixed and remedied that actually don't get fixed and remedied by fixing the problem. Right? It actually sometimes just gets fixed by appeasing some sort of emotional state.
So the most efficient way to solve the problem is not to solve the problem, but to actually solve the emotions behind the problem.
A combination in both. They're always going to have a two-faceted scenario. So say you have a particular, you know, agreement that you're working on, and then what you actually realize is that for some people, the way that you get to yes for them is going to come down to dollars and cents and line items and check boxes. And then in other scenarios, it just wants someone else feeling strong enough of an emotional state to just say, I can just go say that it will work or it will be okay. I just need to be able to say that. And that's all it takes for me to get something over the line. Everything after that becomes one of those two things. Do I help you by just checking a box off of you because you care about it? Or do I help you say that you emotionally feel good about where you are?
Yeah.
Now, I'd rather just check the box off for you because I can only make you feel good for so long. I don't have to relate to your emotional side. I don't have to be on the same page. I just have to acknowledge verbally to you, hey, I know that you feel this way. I can't relate, but I know that you feel that way, so it matters to me.
Yeah, I think that's a few tiers above me on maybe the road or the ladder to maturity as an ENTJ, focusing on those aspects. It's not something you would say comes naturally to you? Or?
It's hard. Empathy's hard no matter who you are, no matter what your personality is. But I genuinely think that the best leaders are the ones that can empathize. Because if you have empathy, you can supercharge other people below you or around you.
So what's caused you to focus on this as maybe some negative experiences that you've had? Has it been from that, or has it been maybe that you've dipped your toe in the water into helping people out at their worst moments, exercising that empathy, and you've seen the fruits? Like, what has led you to this point?
I just think, like, it's a recognition of, at least in my particular scenario, of, you know, I didn't lose my job in 2020.
I didn't take a promotion in 2020.
Yeah. I didn't get a pay cut in 2020. I bought a house in 2020. So it's things like that that I see, and that's where faith is also a huge aspect as well, where it's like, I got these, right? I worked for a lot of it. I was blessed in most of it. But at the end of the day, not everybody did. And so for me, it's mine to share. Like, what I gain is mine to share and to empathize with those that are trying to get there, right? So you buy a house safely in 2020, fill it. Like, fill it with as much as you can with people and friends and memories, and invite others in. And then when your friends buy their house, celebrate their house as much as you celebrated your own.
And also help them on that journey as well. In order, you've navigated the banking system, you've navigated, you know, even practical things like saving. There's also advice perhaps that you could give them along the way to help, or you're not responding to that very well.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't like to think that I'm good at those things. That's why. Do you mean like in terms of just like for an ENTJ, or just?
Well, when I think of privilege, privilege is a word that buzzword at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's almost a negative thing. And perhaps it's negative because people who have privileges hoard those privileges for themselves. They use it and take from others. But I think when I look at the privileges I've received in life, it's often through my family, and it's often through the sacrifices that they've made. It's often through the stability that my parents have given me. And there's, I guess, a selfish impulse to hoard those privileges and really take advantage of those. But I think my personal goal is to share those privileges and bring others up into the privileges that I have, even though they might not have had that same upbringing, that same educational experience, the same work opportunities, whatever it may be. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this YouTube channel, is because I recognize that I do think I have something through my life lessons, through where I've been, that can be valuable to others, and I want to share that. I want to pass that on.
And I think you just basically summarize it in terms of, like, from a privilege standpoint, that, and this kind of goes to empathy to a big degree, one step further, but baseline, like, privilege isn't necessarily like you are the way you are because of privilege. Like, you are who you are, and privilege helped along the way, right?
Yeah.
In Christian terms, we just call it blessings and brush it over and act like it was by chance, right? And so it's like the thing that you realize, and I think this is, for my personality type, is really hard, and even harder from a Midwest background, because we're too humble to a fault. But it's like, just the fact that you acknowledge from a privilege standpoint, I might have just gotten 1 or 2 extra shots at the bucket that someone else didn't, right? Everybody else got 3 shots. My first one was free, right?
Yeah.
And it's not to say that they're a better shooter or I'm a better shooter, but I just got that 1 more shot at it than they did. That's all that it's saying, right? And so you just acknowledge, yeah, you went 1 for 3, I went 1 for 5. We both made 1. I went 1 for 5, right?
Yeah.
You had to work harder in those 3. And I think definitely in 2020, you're realizing who has any type of social capital standing, any type of financial capital and standing. Everything got switched around, right?
Yeah.
The entire board got rotated 90 degrees in 2020. So.
Awesome, man. I think we'll leave it there. I think it's been a really good conversation.
Yeah.
And let's just enjoy this beautiful view for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Go get 1 more beer and call it a day.
You're awesome, man.
Was that what you wanted?
Yeah, perfect.
Did you want any more?